fighting for what's right in our country. But not only is he very patriotic, he's a Christian man. I look up to him as that. He loves the Lord and serves our country and serves our district very well. So with that, introduce Congressman Mark Souder.
Mark, thank you for coming.
Yesterday was a sobering day for me, not just because it almost rained on the Gravel Country Fair Parade, but that I spent much of the day, over 3 hours, with our troops in the 122nd Airborne down in Fort Wayne, who are about to be deployed to Iraq on Wednesday. And there is nothing more sobering, and I want to thank our veterans than as a member of Congress to have to vote on whether you're sending young men and women to war. And spent hours with them, fielding questions, talking about where we're headed. And we can never thank our veterans enough, because we have our freedoms here because people were willing to sacrifice for this.
That's right.
We face the challenges of terrorism, of Islamic extremists who want to wipe us off the face of the earth. But every day in the Homeland Security Emergency Response Subcommittee, we deal with how we're going to handle not only the catastrophic events, but because emergency response has fallen under Homeland Security, the day-to-day things, whether it be tornadoes or car wrecks or whatever. And we also need to think, because we've had a few big terrorist incidents like 9/11 in our country, but day-to-day, every one of us never know when we're going to face one, whether it's a burning fire or meth lab, that our fire department hopefully will know the procedures and how to go in, but they don't know necessarily what's inside when they go in. Whether it's whatever type of challenge they face, what we look at on a catastrophic level, they face on a daily level. And also want to personally thank the departments here for taking and sacrificing for the rest of the community. In big cities like Fort Wayne, it's paid, it's still a risk, and still a sacrifice. But when you get into voluntary communities like what I grew up in, that almost everybody in town has to take a turn. And those who take longer turns, those who do the training, the companies that employ them and let them go, sometimes it was in Grable hard to get waited on if there was a fire in the community. That those type of things in small towns, you still see that community togetherness and the support of this church and the support of the communities and the support in particular of the people willing to do that, and I want to thank them as well. Yeah. Share one other basic thought, both with all of you in the emergency preparedness and our veterans and everybody here, and that is that it's very easy to get depressed about what's going on in our nation. I grew up in a very conservative church where we didn't even have a piano. I go to church now where most people don't wear ties, but I still do because I grew up in a very traditional church. When I was growing up in the Apostolic Christian Church, we didn't exactly think abortion was hell, but we thought it was a close supper. And it's very easy to get depressed about what you see going on in our nation around the world. But when I came in this morning and we sang Days of Elijah, which many churches wouldn't have sung years ago, quite frankly, it's a little noisy, and it's one of my favorite songs. But the privilege that I've had as a congressman representing 8 counties is I've sung that song with thousands of people in multiple counties. This isn't a matter of 3 or 4 people gathered together and can we find 8 or 10 people in Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm telling you, this is going on, and there is underneath all the evil that we see, we have a revival. We see all these young kids here.
Amen.
We see the young people here. This is not beyond hope. We just need to be in the battle. The promise isn't that everything's going to go well. The promise is that we're going to be in the battle. And an amazing thing for our veterans and anybody going into a burning building or in a police situation where they don't know whether the guy's got a gun, whether he's going to pull it on them, or what kind of level of violence there is, that I didn't see it in those ways, but I felt it in the actual 9/11. When we were worried how many planes were still up there, were there going to be follow-up bombs in Washington, D.C., and in the afternoon, when we saw that our president and vice president still were trying to get situated in Washington, we went out on the Capitol steps. And I heard after the brief thing, we're sitting there wondering we got a bullseye on our chest. Somebody behind me on the right, there's probably at least 300 congressmen who take credit for this, but bottom line is that there weren't even 300 there. But somebody, and nobody to this day knows who precisely, started singing God Bless America. And I heard people sing God Bless America who usually don't use God in that way.
Yeah.
There's an amazing thing about war, about going into a burning building, about being in a crisis, that even those who aren't believers, boy, they sure hope God's blessing America.
Amen.
And it's amazing what in their hearts they know that even the lights cry out. And they, when you feel that pressure, boy, you think, this could be my last minute, my last hour in my here. So I thank the church for your service. I thank the individuals for their service. And we need to remember why we're here today, not only to thank, but to worship our Lord and Savior.
Amen. Thank you so much.